London Pretzel, you beat me to it. I was about to come into general and tell you that we were moving in here.
By the way, like half that time that we took, it was just us talking about like joke MRT extension.
While people were writing up their reports.
Just an FYI, in case anyone was curious, like Inamori didn't take that long.
It will be gathering at SE27. i.e. the first station on the L extension. Chief, you're still in the audience.
I was saying things and was wondering why
No one could hear you.
Yeah. why no one could hear me, because I was in the audience. Anyway, yeah, so you can TP to either Vicky or Chief or Frumple. And someone can make a podium and
I'm just gonna stand on. I'm just gonna sit on the roof.
Okay. All right, cool. Looks like people are sitting on the roof then. All right, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Let me tell 5 and now put this down. Tell 5, 5, 3. You can see that we're professionals and that we know exactly what we're doing. So, okay, there we go. If you look to the east, I just put a.
That can't leave voice for some reason. Hold on.
Hi, what did you do?
Please hold. We have pet-related issues.
Okay, I can't tap from voice. All right. So while people are figuring out what they're going to build, we can go ahead and get started. So, hi everybody, welcome to the February 2023 General Staff Meeting. First one in quite a while where we have had a private portion because we had a Premier City Review application. So very exciting. So we'll just get right into it. The candidate city this time around was the town of Itamori. We had some fun reviewing that. There was a good amount of meme discussion happening. Of the broadcasts, I can neither confirm nor deny which ones are serious discussions and which ones are memes. You'll have to figure that out for yourself. Anyway, the final vote came in at 2 votes in favor and 7 votes against. So unfortunately, Aria, the city of Itamori, will not be promoted to premier at this time. We thought that there's a lot of great progress. The city is pretty close. There were several of us who were actually on the fence. Okay, whoever's boxing me in with glass, Ludus, I'm going to ask you to stop and remove that. So, base near 5 glass. Oh. Anyway, so the main points of feedback that we have, and again, we'll be releasing the specific vote paper shortly after the meeting if we haven't done so already, is that we felt like there was a bunch of spaces kind of dotted throughout the city that felt like they were not really finished. And this is most common in the kind of non-building spaces. So think spaces that look like they're parks and plazas, but they, with just a couple trees and things, we thought that there could be some more detail there. That was one of the bigger comments that shows up a bunch. There's additional information, of course, Aria, that you'll be able to, and everybody, that you'll be able to see in the final document once it gets published. But yeah, again, the vote is 2 votes in favor, 7 votes against, and I think we all thought it was really close on balance. So we're, yeah, so we thought that close, but not quite this time. So sorry, Aria. Best of luck on future applications should you choose to go for it. We certainly hope you do.
Yeah, once again,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Once again,
Go
we
ahead,
would
Vicky.
like to stress that Inamori was actually really close. We, like, a lot of us were like hemming and hawing either way. That just ended up being the consensus. So it is definitely not too much of a stretch if you decide to go for it in the future.
All right. Before we get going, since we've got a bunch of folks here, Frumple, do you want to quickly just let folks know about the maintenance that you're doing tomorrow?
Actually, I might be delaying it by a day due to some IRL stuff, so I'll confirm it later today. But yeah, just mostly plugin updates, boring maintenance stuff, nothing too interesting. Sorry.
Just a heads up to folks that at some point in the next couple days that there will be a maintenance interruption, so apologies in advance.
Yeah.
And
And
we
then
will
the
be
other-
doing the full world Dynamap render, so you'll expect to see the Dynamap request channels closed for the week.
Yeah, actually, that'll probably happen as soon as I create. I'm probably going to create the backup after the restart today, after the offsite backup probably. So once that backup starts, I'm going to be closing the Dynamap renders channel because any renders that we made there will just get overwritten when we put the full render on. So yeah, expect that channel to be closed for the next at least probably this week. So
Cool. Thanks, Frumple and Simon, for doing the render. There's a lot of folks who want to see their stuff who haven't rendered it, so great to see the map update. All right. With that all said and done, we can go ahead and get into the actual meat of the meeting itself. So starting off with conductor applications, we have 2 conductor candidates this time around. We have It's Not Jasper and Michibos. And we have, including Dinty, and how many staff are here now? Also, just since we haven't... oh, Dinty is here. Okay. So the staff present who are voting this time are Skelly, Vicky, AP, Foot, Dinty, Needon, Simon, Chief, Frumple, and then we have absentee ballots from 7D and Missa. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay. And Dinty, I know that you did submit an absentee ballot, but you'll be able to change your vote for this bit. So,
Okay, I have minutes ready.
okay. Let's get the list randomized here. What's this thing? List randomizer. Vicky, AP, Frumple, Simon, Dinty, 7D, Missa, Skelly. Who the hell I missed? Needon, and Foot. There we go. All right, list is randomized, and first up for the candidate is It's Not Jasper. And the first person to vote will be Foot. Foot is a neutral. 7D.
7D voted for.
Okay, Simon.
I'm neutral.
Okay, AP.
Yes.
AP is a yes. Missa.
Neutral.
So by absentee neutral. Vicky.
I will be voting for.
Okay, Vicky's a yes. Skelly. Skelly is a yes. Chief. Chief is a yes. Needon.
For.
Needon is a yes. Dinty.
Neutral.
Dinty initially is a neutral. And Frumple.
I'll vote for.
Frumple's a yes.
So that's
So,
6
Vicky, what
for,
is that total?
for neutral.
There should be 11.
7-4.
I apparently can't count.
All right, so 740. Yeah, 740, and then however many you can vote.
Two.
Yeah, I
Okay.
scrolled up and I'd 7D's thing was off my screen.
Okay. So that is a passing vote. However, we'll just give it just a few minutes in case people have any opinions. So, Foot, I'm just neutral because I'm not on when they're on. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm similar to Foot there. I just don't have enough interactions to say either way. Nothing against him.
From the interactions I have had with Jasper, they seem like a really good and trustworthy person. So, and Jasper seems to put, I mean, we don't put a lot of weight into the application, but Jasper seems to have put a lot of thought into this. So that also boosts my confidence.
I'd like to read Miss's comment about his neutral vote. It's quite long, actually. How do I read? Oh, damn it! Why did you? It's not Jasper. I do wonder about their comment about not engaging with the community enough. Part of me feels that it is perhaps not the best idea to use Conductor as a catalyst for engagement, and rather members should be engaged before they apply and use Conductor as a motivator for deeper, closer engagement.
That's fair enough, but it, at least to me, it feels like Jasper is sufficiently engaged.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Jasper's misphrased the application and he more means he wants to be able to give back more to the community rather than engage more.
That could be interpreted that way. Yeah.
Jasper is on if you want to ask.
Alternatively, it is pretty decisively for, so unless there are any changes of heart, we could just go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, my impression has been of any kind of interactions that I've had with Jasper have been positive. Between the application and what I've seen from direct action, it seems like there is, very high interest in giving back to the community. This is probably, if we took the application just by itself, without considering, someone's actual membership history, but this is probably one of the strongest applications we've received in quite a while here. So very impressed with that, and pleased with what I've seen so far. So I'm happy to support.
Other than the thing I mentioned from Miss, are there any negative points about Jasper that need to be mentioned here, or things that people want to bring up at all? Because this is the time to do it.
They have put, in their own application, they may not be online, for a few hours. Sorry, a few hours in the week, but at the end of the day, that's
fine.
enough.
We understand, and I mean, a lot of us, especially on the staff team, because a lot of us are adults and have school and work and stuff, that we, I think as long as there's coverage, which I think we've got a good amount of that, and you're able to come on whenever you can, and whenever you feel like you have motivation to, which so far that activity data seems to support.
Ultimately, we're going off past data, which does reflect that he is active.
Yeah.
So I have no concerns about that. Okay. Not hearing any further points of concern. Are there any vote changes that anyone would like to record? Yeah, Needon, and I think that that's part of the job is, we don't expect everybody to have amazing world edit knowledge, because we're more than happy to teach you.
I.e. crashes incoming, basically.
I mean, this is
If
why
you don't have a world edit fail on your first day, are you really a conductor?
Exactly. All right. I'm not hearing any vote changes or other points of concern, so that is so that looks like that is a pass of a 7-4-0-2 final vote. So congratulations, Jasper. Welcome aboard. All right. Next up is our second conductor candidate, which is Mitchabaz. Is online. And let's randomize the list. See what happens. First up to vote this time will be 7D.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, neutral.
7D neutral. Needon.
I'd say neutral, but I can be swayed.
And Needon is a neutral. Dinty. Dinty's a neutral. Skelly. Skelly is a neutral. Vicky.
I will also be a neutral.
Vicky neutral. Foot. Is that a neutral or a no? Neutral. Thank you, Foot. AP.
Neutral.
Nissa.
Missa voted neutral.
And Frumple.
Neutral.
Chief is a neutral.
Uh,
And Simon.
Also neutral.
So that's a 0-11-0-2.
Okay. Apparently, we are Switzerland.
No, we have a giant
be
my
fair.
head. So actually, we're Chile.
to be really fair, though, there were no against votes here, so that says something too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So although I am neutral, I was a bit put off in the application. I thought it could. I'm not sure if it was just my interpretation, which is why I didn't vote no. But I thought it came off quite cocky, saying I'm one of the most famous members. Just a bit that annoyed me. I'm sure it's a difference in interpretation and wasn't meant like that. But it put me
I
off.
was thinking that exact same thing. It seems a little too boastful for my.
Yeah, it's for me.
flavor.
The application felt a little bit like there was lack of effort put into it.
Well, so I can like say a few things about it. Like, so the application, I feel like he kind of misconstrued like what the point of it was, because like he talks about like, well, just being a good member, which is nice and like that's good, but like, I don't know, I have seen him quite a lot in game, but at the same time, not enough that I would be able to say like he's not gonna cause trouble. I also don't have any indications that he would, but just so that's the reason that I vote neutral so far. But like he is like online quite a bit, and like he is like, even though he words it a bit like wrongly maybe, he is like online quite a bit, and like he does get along with a lot of like people on the server in like his time zones. So that are good things that weigh for him. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying, and there's a reason I didn't vote against. I don't personally interact with Mika, Micah, Mitcha too much, but like the interactions aren't bad. I just didn't really care for the application personally.
how do people feel about someone putting their own evidence in their application too? Like that's not something we usually see in other conductor apps I've seen.
What?
I mean, yeah, it means it can be forced, like they've offered some help and then quickly written down the logs. But I mean, that could be the case for mod applicants as well, where they've coordinated it with the person. Hey, do something good, and I'll make a note of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's fine.
yeah, I don't have any issue with it.
Okay.
The application, even though I don't think it adds much, I don't think it distracts much either. Like, I mean, it's not, I'm one of the most famous members for the time that I've been here. Like, it's like a bit of a vague and also a bit like a bold statement at the same time. But like, I think we should also look past the application and also look at like, do we have like how often he's been online? I didn't see that come by the mill. But yeah, I think mostly look at stuff like that. Like, I think he seems quite reliable in that sense. Just like might not get always the grasp of like the situation. Which I mean, he's not like going for like moderator, but still like I feel like he's a bit on the younger like both in like how long he's been on the server as well as like age and thus maturity, like sort of. So yeah, I'm not gonna be like convincing, like trying to convince you all like, hey, if I'm like saying yes, then you all should. But I think I would also not think it's a bad idea to go like give it a shot.
So looking at the activity spreadsheet, looking at the form, the activity metrics, I would say, are all well within what we would expect. So activity concerns, I'm not worried about. Yeah, Misha is only a trustee, which is the lowest rank of someone who we've considered, and actually the lowest rank of someone who can be considered for conductor. So I mean, in terms of being around not as long, that is a thing.
Hold on. I'm gonna check player list real quick and see how long they've been on the server.
Yeah, I think they've been a while. They just haven't got a town.
Just haven't ranked up.
Which I don't think should be held against him if that's the case.
No, this is why we allow anyone who, as long as you've reached trustee, then that's the eligibility point.
Yeah, like 10 months.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, longevity and length of membership and rank, not at all issues, and certainly has been active recently. So in terms of those criteria, I'd say that box is checked.
Yeah, and Mika was joined the server last April, so 10 months.
Yep. Just posted in chat. Got member 18th of April last year. Started being active on 11/6. So. Okay. Any other comments that people want to bring up, or any vote changes that people want to record?
So what exactly are we for Mika to be? If Mika were to go for conductor next time, like what are we gonna say? What are we telling him to work on exactly?
Yeah, he just posted in chat of any feedback for how I can improve.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think it just comes down to a case of more interactions, which is really hard to achieve. But I think that is the only thing that can really be done.
Obviously, don't be so boastful in your application. I think I've made that clear.
Yeah. One thing with the application that did kind of put me off as well was the effort going into it. At least running a spell checker over it.
What's the spell check? Where's the issue?
Well, grammar.
Capitalize is yeah.
It's understandable.
It's nitpicky.
It's understandable. We could understand the application, but it doesn't look great if there's a lack of capital letters.
Yeah, note the phrasing, Mika. It's why do you want to become a conductor, not necessarily what are your qualifications. Just so keep that in mind.
Yep, and obviously you'll need to write it within your own words. Do we publish these? We do publish them.
Yep, they're published.
Yeah, they are.
So I would say take a look at some of the past ones, because then you can that can at least give you an idea of what other people have put on their applications. Obviously, you need to write your own, but you can use those as a starting point to see why or what kind of written responses people have done before. Okay. Any vote changes that anyone would like to record?
Yeah, I'll move mine to 4.
Okay.
That's needed to 4?
Yes, that's needed.
Yes.
Any other vote changes? Okay. Not hearing any further vote changes, so we will consider that ballot closed. Final tally of 110-02. So that unfortunately does not result in a promotion. So Mitra, hopefully that'll give you a little bit of guidance. And if you think you want to go for it again in May, absolutely go for it. All right, that is conductors done. No moderator candidates this time. So we move on to community issues. And specifically, the one that has inspired a lot of arguing, 5A, remaining MRT line names.
Yes, hello. So for people who may not know the context of why this topic is here, Missa and Alpha proposed the night line a few weeks ago, and there was quite a bit of argument about just the name of the line. And based on how that discussion went, I think if we're going to plan the rest of the lines on Zeta World, we need to make some decisions about what we're going to do in terms of naming. So the first question that's been brought up is whether we want to reuse the old world line letters, that's B, G, Y, R, and O, on the new world. By doing this, if we allow this, then that'll allow us to build all 26 lines of the alphabet on the new world, and in a sense kind of complete the MRT system on the new world. So that's one decision that I'd like the staff to at least make at this meeting. The other part is actually thinking of names for those, if we decide for the remaining lines. That part I understand if we don't reach a final decision on, because there's already been quite a bit of discussion, not really much consensus so far. So for that part, I think it's understandable and that we could just defer that to some other time. It just makes it a little bit more, I just think that naming the lines now will make it a lot easier to assign them to certain lines around like potential new lines around the world, and then we don't have to argue so much about those later on. So, yep.
I'm happy to start on the first part of the question, which is, should we reuse the old world letters? And I am very much in favour of it. I think there is an interim solution there, which is maybe not using O, which is currently the orange line, and now using O to effectively designate old world. But to be honest, I think that's excessive. And if you are talking about a location you are building in, well, that isn't going to apply to the old world anyway. So I don't think we need to necessarily reference the old world, because if you want to say location on the old world, you can just say, oh, it's B13 on the old world. So I'm in favour of using all 26 letters on the new world, personally.
I'll also point out, obviously, all the old world lines are B12, B123, Y123, etc. Whereas the new ones have been BN123, BS123.
I mean, that not necessarily, because we have like Tiger is T12. So it okay. Depends on the line's configuration. It may not be that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Keep in mind the lines that don't have the north-south-west designation. Those are the ones coming out of spawn. So those are just going out of spawn. For all the new lines that are probably going to be put in, those aren't connecting to spawn at all. So there probably will need some sort of north, east, south, west designation.
With the exception of is it Z naught? Yeah, with the exception of the noughts, which okay, fair enough. I said that.
I mean, I'm of the opinion that taking a real world example, just because the London Underground has the central line doesn't mean no other metro system in the world should have a central line, because that would be ridiculous. I think for the same letters, just because we're using some letters in the old world doesn't mean we should not use them in a completely different world. And yet, yes, it's not as similar as that because it's on the same server, but I don't think it's going to cause confusion, because worst case scenario, someone just needs to specify, oh, it's at B12 on the new world or on the old world.
I would
Yoshi-
also agree with the yes, we should allow reusing the letters. I would also note that I think with maybe 2 or 3 exceptions, every single station on the old world is named, whereas on the new world they are not as universally named. So, and most of the time you'll only be using the station identifiers to give a reference of where something is. Generally, if you're trying to refer to Audenville, you would just say Audenville, and you may not necessarily remember that it's R9 on the red line. So I really think that there's not a whole lot of ambiguous names with that sort of stuff. So I'm totally fine reusing the letters in this case.
Okay. So Yoshi's brought up a point, and there was a lot of argument about this, about doing the K and Q letters first before we do the old letters. I've made it really clear I don't agree with this, because I think that makes it less flexible for us to build lines. If we're going to decide to just we're going to decide that yes, we are going to use these line letters eventually anyway, then I don't want to restrict people from, if someone has a good idea for say the ocean line or a glacier line, they shouldn't need to be waiting for the K and Q lines to be planned or finished before proposing that.
I'd agree.
Basically, I'm saying,
I'd agree.
if we're doing these lines, we're doing them all, we're committing to doing all of them eventually. I'm talking about years later. It doesn't, like, this is really long term. I'm thinking here, but eventually
the
we will-
order in
Yeah.
the specific order in which they are done does not matter. I would agree. I think if there's an opportunity that it makes sense to use whatever letter, let's just do it.
I agree.
Could I mean, it's not to be decided now, it's to be decided at when the relevant lines are proposed. But I would like to generally set a precedent that if we are reusing old world letters, that we explicitly use a differing line color. I think that will help to differentiate. If you're on a line that says B12, if it's a blue line, it's on the old world. Whereas if it's yellow in color, then we know that it is the new world.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Like Spike.
Okay, so
I really like Spike.
are there any arguments against using old world letters? Because I don't really see any, unless like I just basically I'm asking, are we in agreement with the first point?
Was that a yes to you've got a disagreement, or was that a yes to something else in chat?
There is actually kind of a more technical argument against. Notably, one thing to note is that, like, going to like warp and like an old world station code, like even on the new world.
Oh, B1, yeah.
leads to the old world.
Well, no, you can't warp. Oh, sorry, /warp. Right, yeah.
/warp B1. Yeah.
I
Not
mean-
World Guard regions.
I mean, alternatively, it would given how infrequently staff have to go through the old world, is there any argument to just removing those warps and having them be old.b1?
Wait, hold on. Why do
That's
we
fine.
have those warps in the first place? Are they for every station or what?
No, there's
No,
terminus
they're
warps
not
on the old
world-guarded.
world.
Oh,
Terminus warps
Well,
on the old
because-
world.
warps. Yeah.
They're not
Because there
world-guarded.
are terminal warps at the old world spawn.
One thing we could also do is world guard the old world stations and then set teleports there. Since it is on a world by world basis, we could do that. Though someone would have
That's
to
a
go.
That sounds like effort.
Yeah, that sounds like effort. So it's a possibility.
I would be happy to update all of the old world terminus warps to be old.b1, for instance.
that's not going to take that much time. You only have to move 10. So
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'll take that as an action if that's agreed.
Yeah. Like Yoshi put in the chat, what's going to work out for wiki notation, but
Oh,
Yeah,
I forgot about that too.
I would say that, I mean, I think we're a ways out from actually using these. So I don't think that I agree that the wiki, because of all that, that we should figure out what we need to do with disambiguating those.
And I think once again having a different color will help there because B1 is either going to be blue or it's going to be yellow.
Right, but no. So Jasper, no. Basically, the thing that we need to worry about is there's a possible 3 interpretations of the page Bravo 1-2. It's Old World Station B12, New World Station B12, and the Road B12. Generally,
yes.
yeah, and the same kind of thing issue you could say exists with the Arctic line. The general way that we have gotten around that is that if you're doing the code by itself, that means the road, and that we generally don't create pages for the station codes. The templates, those are going to need to get dealt with. I would agree. And that'll be something that I think that needs to get, I think, identified before that line gets proposed. But I don't think that should block us from allowing using those line letters now.
Yeah, I think Yoshi, given how, like I said earlier, even on the wiki templates, if you need a switch statement, you can just have old.b instead of b, and because pretty much all of the pages for the old world will have been completed. Maybe there may be 1 or 2 new ones a year, like if an event goes to an area on the old world. But generally, it's a known quantity to update all of the existing old world wiki pages to reference the blue line now as old.b in the templates.
And that's also something where a script could come in really handy. And Yoshi, if we need to enable API access to make a bunch of edits at once, we can look into that. So because this is something that, even if we might not be able to write the list out ourselves, you could have code rip its way through it and make that update. Because MediaWiki does have an API that you can plug into.
And it's only for the templates you need to update.
It's any template invocation, actually.
Yeah.
So, yep. But that's what I mean, is you can filter the wiki and fix it. So, okay.
The important thing is there are ways around it.
Yes, there are solutions. And I think if we're, thank you, Yoshi, for calling that out, because then we're able to start thinking about it now.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other issues that might pop up. The station list should be fine.
Station list is fine because that's tabbed by sheet. Each line has a sheet, so that's not an issue.
I'm just thinking, but there'd probably be some niche thing. It shouldn't be a problem with Dynamap. It shouldn't be a problem with Old Guard. I'm just trying to think, but I can't think of anything at this current time.
Yeah,
I think policy-wise, there's no reason not to, I think. And then on a technical side, I think we've identified the big things that are most likely to go wrong. So that would be a good thing to start thinking about in advance of the first one that uses one of these letters. But I don't think that's a reason to block the implementation at this time.
Okay. Are we agreed on the first point then? We are going to use all the letters of the alphabet.
I believe the consensus is that Project Alphabet is approved.
Okay. I should also note that my understanding is these will be the last lines on the new world, because there's not, after we're done the alphabet, there's not going to be any more. Because at that point, you have to start thinking of other weird ways of naming. I don't know. I don't really want to go
branches
into those.
Union, UI and UO. Union inner, union outer.
Yeah.
keep in mind that this is probably as big as the New World's going to get because of the chunk generation changes in 1.18.
Not probably, it is.
I
I
mean,
mean, it is.
there's ways around that. You could generate the
there-
chunks on an older version, but I agree.
I mean,
that
there are ways around it, but this is probably it. So
we said that
probably
last time.
Well, here's the thing.
we're now 10 times bigger than last time.
Right. Is in addition to the chunk generation issue, there's also the disk space issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So right now we have enough to handle everybody's building activity and several months of core protect changes at a time until we have to purge it. But we can't really embiggen this by much more before we actually run out of disk space. So
Yeah. We would need a major server machine upgrade, and we've talked about it. There was no Black Friday deals last year.
Well, and even so, regardless of if there's a Black Friday deal, it means that we're paying more money.
Yeah, I mean that's Frumple's money, so
right.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's just to be really technical here. It's really dependent. So most of the servers that OVH provides tend to be just kind of like one disk drive, one CPU, like that sort of thing. Our server is unique in that it has both an SSD and an HDD, which I don't really. It's very rare to see that sort of offering. I somehow, frankly, the Black Friday sale we got to get Zeta server was just perfect for our needs, basically.
What we needed and when we needed it, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could happen again. I'm hoping maybe this year, but I don't know. It's all at the whim of how they set their things up. And again, with the whole chunk generation issue, frankly, at this point, we're at we're talking many years off. But if we were to expand, we wouldn't. It'd be probably time for a new world. But that's a whole other discussion for later.
That means even more MRT lines.
Oh no!
But
And we have to revisit this conversation all over again.
Another 26 new lines. This time, all flowers.
This sounds like a problem for staff then, and
Yeah, I
think
agree.
a decent number of us aren't going to be staff then because that's years in advance.
So what you're
20
saying
years
is
time.
leave it to our grandchildren to deal with it. Okay, I understand.
I'm never going to have grandchildren.
Leave it to Frumple's estate. Got it. Okay. While the chat is going off on new world.
Is this like New York?
No, this is like Battersea Power Station. Okay. So while the chat is arguing about that, Frumple, I think that makes sense of that in terms of major lines. Yes. We'll have to get creative of what happens if there are additional connections that people want to do. I mean, we're going to have to do branches or something if people want to do additional connections.
Yeah. Anyway,
I know that's a whole separate can of worms, which we are potentially wading into with the Hendon with the Hendon branch.
So before we get to that, it's not in the agenda topic, but if people haven't already, go check out the topic in community issues. This isn't a full plan yet, but I only made it to just prove a point. But I did draw out about 8 possible new lines that could still be built on the new world. There's some people arguing that there's no space and all that, but I don't agree with that at all. There is definitely places where those lines could be built. Not necessarily all of them will be built, but considering that we have 7 more letters to go through and I have 8 ideas, I mean.
Yeah, my argument was that I don't see these will definitely be used, but I'm not fully confident that we'll need to go beyond the old world letters. That's what I was saying for major lines, and we could just have more shuttles.
Yeah.
Yes, more branches.
I did actually work on a technology. Admittedly, it's command block based, but that would allow proper branching. and crucially, lines sharing tracks. I know, a controversial thing.
That's controversial. The Marina branch that exists right now at least has separate stations. So,
I mean, we could admittedly at base to without changing the tracks too much. It'd be based on the user having an item in their inventory, but that's doable.
that sounds like
no.
work.
As
The-
long
the
as I
MRT
can, as
the
long as I
MRT
can
is
ride the
gonna be
line
the
without
city
having that item, and I'll just go down the default track.
Yeah, I think you would.
The MRT is going to become City Rail.
Anyway, so
Anyway,
the rest of this topic is about like if we're going with the old world lines, that leaves K, Q, B, G, Y, R, and O available. Again, the problem with the night line proposal that was just proposed a while ago is that night wasn't universally. It seemed, based on the polls, it seems pretty split on whether they wanted to go with night or kelp or something else. So I would like to at least put in some kind of short list of possible names to put with these letters, and then maybe we don't have to go into the today, but maybe think about also where they could go, just roughly. You could use the 8 line ideas I used in the topic, but that's up to you guys.
So, are you asking for us to decide that now, or is this more of a prompt for people to have a think about it?
Do you want to? We could brainstorm now if you'd like. Again, also if we can't find ideas, we don't have to finish the topic today. We could defer it to some other.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth giving people a chance if they want to go away, have a look at DIMAP, and make their own proposals.
Actually, one random thing I just thought about. So the X and Z lines, or Expo and Zephyr, are named after like the axes they go along. But what about the Y line?
Through Central Park.
a straight vertical line.
That's just called a lift.
You could just build in a space world at that point.
Maybe this can be the first MRT line on the
Or-
Space World.
Vermilion space elevator. Why? I love it.
No, it would have to start in Central Park.
No, I think we do it where the first station is at the bottom of the world and the last station is at high limit. It gradually increases in height as it follows a natural path.
Yeah, again, that's called an elevator.
No,
Oh,
it'll be a normal track. It will just, like, over the course of thousands of blocks, it will go from ground to high limit.
I think we just decided the next meme to go in Central Park.
So
April Fools.
So let me just clarify. I want to at least get a short list of names. For the would it help if we just go in through each letter and just
Yeah,
spit
that
out?
part would help.
Okay, so let's start with K. So the 2 ones that are here are Night and Kelp. There was a lot of discussion about what of other K names.
Yeah.
Are there any other ones that people want to add here, or do people basically?
I will put my points in of whilst Night I think sounds better as a name, Kelp is more thematically similar to previous line names.
Yeah. So I think my problem, I don't have a problem with Kelp per se, but not for the one that was proposed by Miss and Alpha and the one I had in my plan, because that line mainly went through desert and basically it didn't really match the biome that I would consider to be kelp, to be honest. So that's why I kind of told Miss and Alpha that line doesn't necessarily have to be K. It could be some other letter. Sorry, Simon, go ahead.
I have asked ChatGPT for a list of nature-related words that start with K, and ignoring the animal ones, the only real nature-related ones are kelp and karst, which is a type of cave.
Okay.
Actually, thinking about it, because like the G, going forward a bit, the G is the suggestion there right now is the glacier line. Not only is that a nature-related name, but it's also the name of a famous tourist chain in Switzerland, the Glacier Express.
Okay.
So they could be like themed around like transit lines across the world. Though we would need to think about transit lines that start with K.
The
Well,
one
I don't think we can do a K Crenshaw or a K Ingleside.
A Kingle side line.
There is also Koa, Koa, which is a type of tree.
Ooh.
I will say that I'm not a massive fan of Knight, not because of the other discussions that have happened, but I just think people will hear that and naturally will think it's the N line because it's a silent K.
Okay, that's.
And
fair.
I know we've done the same with Savannah, which is what's that H,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm not generally a fan of lines that don't sound like their letter.
Okay. That to be okay. I'll take that point because that's actually an argument I haven't heard yet, Simon. So I don't know. I personally like it because of that. I just think it sounds cool, honestly. There have also been some arguments about whether it fits with the like. Some people are really keen on grouping the lines. I am not. I don't really care as much.
What do you mean by grouping? Sorry.
For example, Yoshi wants things like they should all be flowers, or for Knight line, he was proposing things like Bishop line or Queen and King in line and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, that's not really the direction
I mean, I think it was a nice theme for the first bit, especially because that helped. Or because, at least for the initial lines, the idea was that they would serve those biomes. We've kind of run out of that, and so I think we need to take the Mavericks approach, and by that I mean ditch the theme and do whatever feels the most appropriate.
Because we've already broken the theme multiple times. Even 6 major lines, no, 8 major lines now have go stray away from that theme, I think.
Yeah, but it's a starting theme, and I think I do like, rather than just choosing names here, actually deciding it at the point of the line being proposed, because, for instance, Union line is applicable for the current one because it unites all of the other lines. So I think we can give some shortlists, but I don't think we should formally say this is the line until they are proposed.
Yeah, and I do think that for building the line, I think the person building the line itself should have a high amount of input on the line, on what it's called, rather.
So, Vicky, I'm only adding the names if it looks like we have some consensus on whether people want it. So I'm not adding them in yet. Are we just gonna stick with Knight and Kelp? Because I don't know. I don't really see any other ideas here.
Well, if someone has a great idea, they can always propose it with their lines. So it's just some ideas to kickstart ideas.
Yeah, the point of this shortlist is for people. If people don't want to choose a name, they can at least choose from this list and then match it to whatever line they want. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not thinking of any for. I mean, unless we wanted to do, the phonetic alphabet bit of go Kilo and Quebec, but
yeah, okay.
I just asked ChatGPT for a list of geographical formations starting with the letter B, and it's just gone down the whole alphabet.
Okay. Maybe let's not rely on AI.
I do have an idea for B. That's a swampy alternative to Quagmire line, which is the Bayou line.
Yeah, I was about to suggest that. Good one.
Are we skipping to B? Okay, we can skip to B first. We can go back to
I think we're just doing whatever line makes the most sense.
Okay.
Basin, beach, bay, bog. The world has many biomes.
Okay, so yeah, I have heard beach thrown around. I don't know. How do you feel, guys? How do you feel about beach in general?
I'm a little less enthusiastic about it unless it goes
No,
I mean, it's kind of like Lakeshore. I like it. It's a little bit more context dependent than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I think beach
like
or bay would have to be on have to do a significant amount next to a lake.
Yeah,
I'm fine shortlisting it.
I'll shortlist it, but yeah, it is definitely. I do agree. It is context dependent.
Or actually, if there's a line that goes significant, like that spends like a significant amount underground, like for whatever reason, we could do basalt line.
Hmm.
Okay. What are so basalt, Bayou? What other bee names? I don't think ball is a good one.
I mean, we could just have the more generic biome line.
Yeah,
Highest
Bracken
biome
line.
That's a little okay. That's a little meta. Okay, but
Yeah, Bracken might be a nice name.
We don't really have bracken in Minecraft though.
No,
There's
but
multiple suggestions for birch, which I can
Yeah.
see that because birch is a biome.
Yeah,
There's a
I like
birch
birch.
biome.
okay, we can add birch.
and now
Ow.
I have success. Vicky, just look at what I put in chat.
Oh no, I just died.
what is the thing with B?
Bayou line. How do
Yes.
people feel about that?
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, it's nice.
If people really don't like the meme of Quagmire line from 10 years ago, then okay, fine. But
Are there any?
Sorry,
more,
I'm just.
Are there any more B names? Because I want to go back to Q for a sec. If there's any other Quagmire alternatives.
I can't read bio line without thinking, oh, we need to make a big quilt of this. It's the bio tapestry.
My
that was
tapestry
terrible.
line does not sound like an MRT line.
not hearing any serious suggestions in chat, so I think we can go back to Q.
Okay, Q. Q's hard.
Quicksand?
That's a little bit dreary.
And also, quicksand doesn't exist in vanilla Minecraft.
Yeah, it's like you're on the train that's gonna sink into sand. That seems.
Just get a texture pack that turns powder snow purple. Not purple, sand colored.
I mean, quicksand does exist in certain mod packs, but we don't play with mod packs here. We play vanilla.
Quill line? I don't know.
I've also thought of the quest line.
Ooh.
I like
Quart-
Quest.
Quartz line. Also.
Quest line's nice. Quest line,
Ooh.
quite like. It's a little
line?
bit out there.
Ooh, I like Yoshi's suggestion, the aquifer line.
Ooh. Yeah, that's.
That's well, that's kind of.
It's not a biome, but it is a formation.
And
Because in Caves and Cliffs Part 2, when they made the world height thing, they added aquifers.
Yeah, and consider, like, we've got precedent in the savannah. There's no real way of emphasizing H in
Can't really do
savannah.
that with a Q.
Well, I mean, Yoshi just did it with aquifer.
Okay. I'm gonna add.
No, but you can't really do that where it ends in a Q.
I'm gonna.
The
add...
Iraq line.
Oh God.
I've heard
Oh,
of.
no.
I've thought of quantum.
Ooh.
That's a.
Quantum line?
If it's underground, is it quantum tunneling?
Yeah.
Do people
Okay,
like-
now people are going.
Do people like quantum? It sounds cool, but
It sounds like a cool line.
But it doesn't fit with the it doesn't.
Oh, quarry.
I think we've
Quarry.
I think we've decided we're screwing the theme.
yeah, quarry line.
Ooh.
Yeah, quarry line, sure.
Are we gonna put aquifer on here?
I'm not a big fan of it.
I'm still of my opinion that yes, we've got Savannah, which doesn't start with a H, but in general, I want lines that sound like their letter, whereas aquifer sounds like a.
And Savannah sounds like H.
No, that's
literally
the yeah.
silent.
I know. I'm saying that Savannah is the current one that I don't like.
Well, I think if
Yeah, Savannah's kind of the naughty one that we don't pay attention to.
I'm just going to start calling it the Havana line.
I think,
Ah, yes.
if I recall correctly, when the Savannah line was proposed, because the line mainly went from Savannah, and H happened to be a letter that was available, I think that's what the reasoning why we went with it. Like, there wasn't really any...
H was literally the only letter in Savannah that was available.
Yeah.
But I think if I remember some of the stuff we talked about at that point, that it also could have been potentially nicknamed the horse line or the hot line.
It'd be funny if I called the hotline. Okay.
Hotline Miami. Line.
Oh no! What have I done?
Okay.
Anyway.
So I'll just say, okay, I think that's enough Q for now. I will say Quagmire still is kind of my front runner, mainly because technically, out of all the biomes we've done, there's no swamp-like. There's no line that represents a swamp-like biome yet. We haven't done one yet, so it's either be like Quagmire or Bio could fit there too. But I think we should maybe strive for at least one that's at least somewhat swamp related.
We're only allowed Quagmire if G is for Peter Griffin.
No.
Now there's a suggestion for the Q line.
Unfortunately, it's like the thing that stands out to me is the marsh line, but M is already taken by Mesa.
Yeah,
So-
and swamp line is southern. Yeah, it's already taken.
Southern, yep. And you can't do SW because Southern Line West.
Yeah, all the letters are already taken by other MRT lines.
This is why this is hard. Okay, yeah, I think Quebec is good. So we can move. We got Bravo. We got golf line. No.
It's just like a forest mini golf at every MRT station.
I did see Yoshi say a bunch of flowers.
We got grassland.
Grassland's one. Grassland could be good.
I'll
I
put
think
that on.
Yoshi put in part of his suggestions gardenia, but I think that could be shortened to garden, perhaps. So you could just have a garden line.
Garden line.
I like
that.
Garden or Grove could be good too.
Ooh. God, I agree with both of those. Garden line, Grove line are
Okay,
nice.
let's put both of those in there.
Have we got Glacier on there?
Yeah, Glacier was
yes,
the
it
one
is,
that was
the first
already
one.
on there.
You've also got Geyser, as in the geysers in Iceland, but that's less applicable to Minecraft.
I wouldn't do that probably.
They're screaming.
Oh, Geyser. Yeah. Sorry, I'm like, wait a minute, Geezer? Like,
Geezer, old man. I was like thinking the same thing.
I know.
Old man line.
I mean, we do have O available.
Old man.
The Geyser line.
Yeah, the Geezer line.
You must be at least
For
60 to
old
this line.
man line.
It's a shame that W is taken, or you could have the Geyser and the Weezer.
I do like
As soon
Geyser,
as you
though.
said that,
I do like that.
yeah, Geyser is a good name.
Let's do
There is so we can match Geezer and old man.
The problem is now, if we have a Geyser line, I am just going to refer to it as the Geyser.
British
Okay,
people.
Line for old men, old people. Oh, wait, okay.
Hey, I'm a Geyser.
Me too.
You must
The
present your-
geriatric line.
We do have Galapagos, but because that's the name of like a place as well as
Yeah.
the island formation. I'm less keen on that.
Sounds a little too specific. I'd rather not.
Yeah, we like to avoid specific places if we can.
I mean, Galapagos would be good if it did island hopping over the Northern Ocean, but we're fairly limited there because of Itakani.
I could just call it the ocean.
Appreciate that this Geyser, not
Also
Geezer.
true.
Okay, is that enough G names? I think that's plenty there.
Okay, I think we're good.
Let's do Y.
The y-axis line, the y-axis line.
So
Yonder line?
so Yoshi Yarrow, I'm a little concerned it might be too similar to yellow, unfortunately. No, and not the one that has one Y and two U's. We're not doing that one at all. That is banned.
Yankee uniform is banned.
Yellowstone, but that's a specific place, obviously.
And also it starts with yellow.
Oh, right, yeah, that's. problem.
Somebody asked ChatGPT what line names that
Simon did
start
that.
with-
Simon did that. That's what got Yarrow.
Yeah, the only ones are really Yellowstone, Yarrow.
Okay, we're also not doing the Ye
Yosemite.
line or the Yes line.
Pair it up the geezer line, the youth line.
There is a flower called the ylang ylang. But
Oh, yes.
I don't want to pronounce ylang every time I have to.
We're
say
also
it.
not
Ylang,
doing a Yeet line, or a Yeehaw line.
I'm getting the feeling that the Y line,
Yeah.
I feel like the Y line will probably be the very last line that would be built because we can't. There's not really that many good names, to be honest. Like
You could probably
I mean-
do. Probably the best thing for Y is to do like another Savannah line and have. And luckily, there's like a lot of words that end with Y, so that wouldn't be too difficult.
we might have to
Vicky, I was literally just about to suggest that with Odyssey. I think
Well,
that could
there's
go with
O.
O, but right. So, but like that, if we were gonna go Savannah line mode on that, you could do.
Yeah,
You could
Odyssey-
do that.
If it was Odyssey, I think it'd be better if it started with O. Honestly.
Yeah.
We can
We'll
put
just
it with
that
O
on.
real quick.
Yeah, we can put it with O.
Yeah,
I think
do
I
it.
suggested that once.
I mean, how about year, as in the time period?
The year line, no, I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Al Yankovic line. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Yankovic line.
Yard line?
I mean, that would satisfy the football fans. American football, I should say.
Well, Imperial units are dumb, so
I was more thinking like a garden yard.
okay. But I'm like, Imperial units are dumb except for Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is the best temperature for weather. Don't at me.
I do also like
I prefer
drinking by the.
Celsius. I respect it.
I also like embrace my Britishness every time I drink by the pint.
Yeah.
Unless I'm in Europe, then I enjoy drinking by the litre.
Yucca line, like Yucca's a mountain,
Like-
isn't it?
I was just gonna say like Yucca Mountain.
Yogurt line. I don't know.
Yogurt.
We're really doing some bottom of the barrel scraping here.
Yolk is in an egg yolk.
Where yolk is in the thing that you grab if you're.
Oh, the yard of ale line. It's hyphenated.
The Y, no, the Y is in WHY. Why? Why line? Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, very. No.
It does
Yucca, I
sound like
think,
the letter Y,
is
so
good.
yeah, I'm in favour.
Why? Like, well, why are we doing this line? Yeah. Okay, I'm starting to think we might just have to leave this empty because
Yeah, why? I
Once
think we'll
again,
have to leave.
it'll have to be something that ends with Y, I think.
I think we just, over the next couple of months, we just need to create our own words, have that become part of the MRT culture, and we can choose that.
Except not you.
So I am
Yeah,
going to
there's-
start. So if you see me around, I'm going to start using the word yig. I'm hoping that it doesn't mean anything offensive.
Let's go on
It
Urban
probably
Dictionary and
does.
see if that has a definition. Urban Dictionary.
Y-I-G, yig.
Let's see.
while that's
If you look on
happening,
there, everything's offensive.
let's go on back to a sane letter and think of odd letter names.
Oh, apparently it is a shorthand for yes, I'm gay, so it fits.
Yeah, but like 2/3 of us are queer, so that should be fine.
We could. Yeah. Okay. Riverline. Yes, I like that.
River. Okay, it's a little generic, but sure.
I mean, okay, but
I mean, there's
I like
Lakeshore
Ridge.
isn't generic.
Well, there,
I mean-
where the fuck are there's rivers everywhere on the new world.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could do something like the Lakeshore. I mean, we didn't call the Lakeshore the Lake Line. We could do like Riverside Line. And granted, that's a real place, but still.
Or river view. Or
If it was
something.
going to be another ocean crossing, you could use reef.
We are not doing a Ruffman line.
Oh my god.
So I'm hearing
Reef isn't bad.
Reef and Ridge.
The cringe line.
I pretty much like all the ones that Yoshi gave, so ridge, river, ravine. Less so for rock.
the rock line.
And yeah,
Skelly,
I don't know how
I
ravine
am-
would fit into the
Skelly, I am vetoing that.
What did Skelly say? No.
Don't. No. Exactly. Now you'll see why I'm vetoing it.
It's for like the Riviera line, maybe.
Mm,
That's kind of a derivative of the river line.
Yeah.
Have we done B yet? What did we say for B?
We did do B. We did beach, birch, and bayou.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. I'm just making sure we didn't have any ocean ones, which would be blue in color.
any other R names? Any other non-meme R names? Jesus, people are so insistent on the memes.
Yes, because
I mean,
memes
what did
are
you
excellent.
expect?
Well, I just hope. I don't know. Maybe not. Rose,
Any-
Rose line. Not really hearing any.
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe, I don't know.
that one I'm a little like. Do we even have like a spot that it would make sense to assign that line to?
At the very least, the color would have to definitely match. It would not make sense if it was some other.
Right.
something
Which
other
and we don't want
Yeah.
a red R1.
than-
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
another
shit,
G1.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, another G1 that we could do is granite.
Great.
I have an idea for a name, but it would only fit if it started in near Central City, I think. And that
Right,
is
what
the
would that
radius
name be?
line. The radius line.
Radius line.
The radius.
Yeah, it would have to go from Central City to. the,
Which I mean, you could
the
do
Union.
something with like the Marina shuttle, and thus like extend it inward via like I don't know MRT.
So basically, do that one plan that Otto proposed.
Yeah, I guess. I can't remember. I mean, I vaguely remember Otto proposing something with the.
Yeah,
I think
extending. Yeah, Otto's proposal was to extend the Marina shuttle in both directions. Simon, I guess to the thing that you were memeing about while we were in the private portion for all your little connectors between the circle line and the Union line, make those the different radius lines.
but they're not radius.
But
because
we
they
all-
don't
Yes,
we
they
all-
are.
center.
We already have,
They don't.
Chief. We already have connectors. They're called every other line.
I'm moving on to O. I am not.
Okay, we're.
engaging with this.
I am vetoing Oreo and Ohio.
What about like if we do that, would radius be viable?
I'm less keen on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of ambivalent.
I mean, we've said ocean, maybe outback if it's in the desert.
There's also some chatter about Oasis.
Yeah, I like Oasis because I like
So-
the band and the drink.
For Outback line, if we've shut down Kalahari in the past because it's an actual desert. So I don't think, for the same reason, I don't think Outback line would work, since it's a specific arid region on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with Kalahari being vetoed either, to be honest.
I mean, so do I, but I'm just being realistic here.
Any other O names? Ocean line's already there.
Not the ocean line.
Screw it. Let's confuse people. Let's just have another orange line.
Orange, but the fruit this time line.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to orange the color.
And it could be like green to like represent like less ripe oranges.
Yeah, I agree. Or brown to reflect a moldy orange.
Orange Julius line. Yep. It's at the sponsorship.
Or orange juice line.
Orange juice line. Just one word. Orange juice.
Hyphenated.
OJ1.
Well, no, but then we have north and south, so OJN1.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, if you extend that, that's OGS, which
I mean,
let's
okay.
not go there.
So there's also, I mean, you could do a British Columbia line, Quebec line, and Ontario line if you wanted to.
Canada lines.
That's not. No.
If we can't have Kalahari, we can't have Ontario.
I don't. And
Or
as a
Quebec.
Canadian, I don't want that at all. So.
Hey, I didn't talk about the one province that doesn't actually exist. So, you know.
Osprey.
Scully, we can't do Saskatchewan because S is already being used by the Southern Line.
No, that's actually for K. Yeah, the O Canada line.
Oklahoma does not deserve representation. Okay.
To be fair, they really don't.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. All of them, I prefer Ocean and Oasis.
I mean, if we're talking about if there was the consideration for the Birch line, then you could do an Oak line. Yeah.
Oak line, it's not bad.
Yeah, I like Oak line.
Seems like there's some support for it in chat.
I personally like Odyssey, but that's just me and my weird taste in names, I guess.
Okay, so, all right, so we've brainstormed for most of this except Y, because that's a silly letter.
Yoshi, I'm not opposed to another circle.
Oh God.
3 circles. Instead of like one like zeta, we could do one in outer epsilon.
Okay.
Isn't that what the northern and whatnot line? No, those are out of gamma, and then they just went off.
Yeah, they're just like inconsistent. It's like southern is outer epsilon and eastern is no.
The north, south, east, west lines are a bit like the M25 project, which was originally going to be 3 different rings, but they sort of joined them up at different points.
Oh yes, I too watched Jay Foreman.
Okay, so I think we're done here. The plan, I think, for now is... So there was a proposal from Pretzel and Zooge, actually just a couple days ago, regarding how the planes line is going to work, and I sort of interjected saying like the L7, which I drew in a picture in that community issues forum, could be instead used. What I think I'm going to do is, since I made that Zeta plan, I think I need to make another one that actually incorporates all of these remaining letters and whatever is remaining right now, and just try to think of something, just write up something there. But yeah, the two after, I guess from that point though, I think we're basically opening the door to people proposing a line using one of these names and using one of those new, it could be a brand new line, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So the night line, or what was supposed to be the night line from Miss and Alpha, I don't know what the plan is for them, like what they were going to do. I would imagine they'll probably repropose it. It may not necessarily be K, it may not necessarily be night, but I would imagine they'd repropose it at some point. I think we rejected it because it was all trying to be done at once, but I think we decided we wanted it to be done in portions. But still, before you can do the first portion, you need a name of some sort. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Does that sound good? I don't know if I'm speaking.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Of at least getting the corridors defined. I think with the obvious usual caveat that, development, the idea of the lines is to connect partially to new terrain and partially to existing stuff. So I think if there's significant stuff that crops up somewhere outside of a line, that might create some diversions from the plan. But I think as a general idea, that makes sense.
Okay. So Yoshi says, I'll just reiterate again, maybe try in simpler terms. So the plan is, I'm going to make a new plan, just like the Zeta planning document that's out there, that didn't account for all the new lines that account for all these new letters here. So what I'm going to do is make a new plan, incorporating these letters, incorporating the newer lines that might be built. And then after that point, we're opening the door to anyone. They can propose one of those new lines, or they can propose one like an extension for an existing line, whatever. We're just saying, yeah, like this is generally it doesn't have to match exactly what I say the plan is, but it's just a general idea of where these lines could go. Yeah. To answer Pretzel and Yuzu's question, like the L7, I'm not sure how that would be named at this point. Yeah, so you might want to start thinking about what name would best match that one. Okay, is that all? Are we good? XM, we'll argue about XM later, Chief. I don't know.
I think whoever, given, I mean, I know that it's a meme, and that like it was identified as part of L8. It would be that corridor. I mean, yeah, we can argue about that later. If that line does wind up getting proposed.
I guess.
Yeah, part of me.
Yeah. My main concern. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is like, I know that it is a bit of a meme because of the fact that it's literally a 2-station shuttle connector. I think regardless of what you do with it, that will hopefully, the meme will, if that line gets extended, the meme will die. If we want to embrace the meme, then that'll make at least several of the people who are in favor of the meme happy about it. But I mean, that'll at least remove the kind of shuttle notion of stuff, and it'll change the canon so that it becomes a proper line.
Yeah. So again, I don't want to stick with the designation because that would still stick with the meme. There's also the potential that line could go into the ocean, extend really far. So I don't know if it at that point it's probably better off as its own proper line with proper letter, in my opinion. My main concern though is if, let's say we do all the other, like I had 8 line ideas, we do all the other ones, and then we run out of letters. If we were to do XM after we're done the alphabet, I'm a little worried that what precedent that sets, if you get what I mean. Like, it basically say that we're allowing lines after we're done the alphabet. It'd be kind of an exception.
I think if it's the case of, these are, for short branches off of main lines.
I'm generally less keen on having branches in the first place.
Yeah, already the shuttle is a bit of an outlier. Yeah. Effectively, it rationalizes that.
I would honestly be happy for and would like to see that be extended and become its own line.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is if we decide to call it XM or call it a branch line, quote unquote, then that sets a precedent. And unless we make it very clear that's going to be like a one-off again, just like the shuttle, people might start asking like, oh, if that's a branch line, why can we build branch lines in other places too? And I don't know if we want to go down that route.
All branch lines are all one-offs are one-offs until it happens again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would counter that with when all the lines are built, if someone builds a town in the middle of nowhere and doesn't have any line connections,
that's probably because they don't want one. Because there will be plenty of stations.
Not necessarily.
Well, maybe it's because we just didn't develop it, and I don't know. It's something that is a reasonable enough thing that I think we probably don't want to prescriptively close the door on that now. I think if that comes up after this, that I think then it's a reasonable thing to look at. But I would agree that it's unlikely, especially given the degree of planning that we've got here. But
I'm more concerned about how much work it is going to be, like how are each branch going to look, like how we're going to allow it. It's going to be a lot to manage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just generally against branch line at this point. Like, I kind of want people to stop building lines in a way. Like, it's.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, don't be. I just, I'm more like, like, the nice thing about having this alphabet is at least shows that there's like an end. Like, once the alphabet's done, then we can safely say, yeah, no more at least major MRT lines are going to be built anymore, and then maybe people can go start doing other stuff or something. I don't know, but yeah. And to your point about like towns, like I don't think it should be expected for us to connect every single town. I don't think it's realistic for us to connect every single town to MRT. So I don't know. I don't want to get into that sort of pattern of let's connect every single town. Like let's.
Ultimately, third-party shuttles exist or third-party shuttles can be built where the MRT doesn't stretch.
That's kind of yeah. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't think it's worth arguing more about this, but at least we have some names. I hope that helps.
Everything except why.
Yeah, I hope that helps people. If people are thinking of building lines, at least this will give you some idea of some at least starting point to think about. Yeah. Okay. Shall we move on? I think we've gone on this long enough.
Yes.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Skilly is proposing a minor rules change relating to B roads.
I'll start off, and I'll note my objection that I put in the forum channel. I am concerned that this could open the floodgates to people designating several roads within a town as a B road because they want all of their town's roads drawn on Dynmap. Because at the minute, the way to have a road drawn on Dynmap is for it to be a B road or an A road. I know there's exceptions for like AT, which is huge, and there'll be other cities like that. But generally, I don't think a road that is solely within one town should be long enough to be considered a B road.
Yeah, Simon, I would agree with that assessment. The formal designations are intended to mean things that go long distances. I get that we kind of have an exception for like the short connectors to get an A road to a town. But the intent is that official designations are meant to be for intercity roads. And that within a town, you've got your own naming. You got your own naming system.
See you roads, everybody.
No. Skelly is saying the main thing I've always been under the impression that B roads have been allowed to exist within one town. Is that actually true? I just want to confirm that. Are there examples of B roads that have been approved just existing within one town or one town's limits?
I think the issue there is, I think the historical consensus has been B roads within one town don't need to be approved. So, people can note that they've built them to us later.
Like if it's the kind of thing of like if they are like you can build it, but you have to get it registered if you want that name to mean anything.
This doesn't really count, but there was the B820, which goes to Larkspur, for a while because I absorbed the other town that it went to. For a while, it was just an intracity B road within Larkspur. Now it isn't.
So my understanding.
But then Larkspur is one of these bigger towns where maybe end to ends, I can see that.
Well, at the time, like Larkspur was like Mare going into like center.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like I understand like A roads going off of the UK perspective, where A roads, i.e. equivalent to B roads here, are meant to be primary routes. You know, if you're traveling from place A to B, this is the route you are most likely to use. But and within a large town, I can very much understand the thing of like these are the roads you are encouraged to use rather than local streets.
Simon, just to be clear, your objection is someone could just make these B roads and just have them drawn on the die map, right? Is that the main concern, or?
Hang on, let me get the topic up to see what that was one of the arguments. I think there were two.
Okay. Like, at least for that argument, isn't it, since these roads need to still be, oh wait, never mind. Nope, never mind what I said. Because
yeah, I mean, so
because technically they could make this road without approval, right? And that
yeah,
would be a
sure.
problem. Yeah.
So
Right.
so I've got three reasons. Firstly, that I don't think if it's within a town, it should be significant enough to be a B road. Secondly, we would then have to draw all of them on die map, which, hang on, if someone then designates every single town in their road as a B road, that's obviously an extreme example, but that's then a lot of staff work to do it. And because it's within their town, it is significantly more likely to then have its routing changed if they want to redesign their layout, and that just creates further staff work. And then my next argument was that if and I'm sort of looking at worst case scenario on a load of B roads now being designated, but that also will create a battle for the best numbers, because if you're creating a new major highway or a major B road between two cities in a region, and you want to use, let's say, the B47, but hang on, B41 through B49 have all been taken by roads within a town, then that's going to create quite an argument of road numbering.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always been in an opinion that two single or two digit B roads should be reserved for like significant regional connections that just aren't like restricted access.
Nice doorbell, by the way.
Okay.
Oh no, that's my chime clock.
That's the clock.
It's 3 o'clock.
Okay. Skelly, let me know what you think of this. I think so it's clear that we have been approving, seems like somehow some roads have been approved or slipped by that don't connect between two towns, but I feel like the original intent of a B road, and A roads too, is that it at least connects two or more towns. They're supposed to be intercity roads, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe instead of us changing the rules to fit what we've approved, I think instead that maybe we've been approving incorrectly, and we should be tightening it up so that B roads have to be at least connecting two or more towns. That's
and I think two or more towns without specific approval, because like if Castle or whoever in the future wants to make one internal to AT, a designated B road, then actually AT is bloody huge. It makes sense to have B roads solely within the town. So I'm happy to review it. Or then likewise, if someone has a ring road around their town, then it makes sense for that to have a B road designation, because it is built as a major highway to avoid the town itself.
Sorry, I should also clarify, not necessarily just between two towns, but a town and an A road, because that is allowed in the rules, right? As a connector from the A road to there. So it just has to be. It just has, yeah. I guess it has to be two towns, or one town and an A road, basically.
Or even a town to another B road if a B road branches.
I feel at that point though, you're adding another road for the sake of adding another road. When
no, if you build a town like 100 blocks away from an existing B road, then the easiest way is to make a B road to that B road.
Yeah, I
Yo,
guess.
dog, I heard you like B roads, so I put a B road in your B road.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, I'm going for the
Yeah.
perspective of real life. You'd probably divert the B road into the town.
Yeah, I would say that Frumple, I agree with your assessment that if there's an issue with misclassified roads, then that's an error on our part, and we shouldn't have done that. And I think just resetting that expectation to official designations are for intercity, that'll go a long way in at least clarifying what the intent is.
I'm waiting for Skelly to reply, but he might be typing something along.
Yeah.
I would be in favour if we wanted to of changing the rules to say that, as you said, that a B road must connect either a town to another town, a town to an A road, or even if people particularly wanted to, an A road to an A road to create a shorter connection.
The thing is, Simon, it already
Breezewood, Pennsylvania.
Simon, the thing is, it already says that in the rules itself. It says it actually has a definition for B roads. It says B roads are minor roads and highways that branch off from A roads to nearby towns, provide local connections between towns, which kind of implies like it's,
Fair enough. Yeah,
it's between two towns, right? So, so I don't feel like
maybe we don't then.
it feels like maybe we don't need to change the rules.
I don't think we need to make any changes, no.
But in the sense we do have to go back to those. Do we need to go back and review those roads that are just within a town? I personally don't remember.
No, I think live and let live if they already exist, because that's a lot of work to scour every single town on Dynmap to see is there a road drawn here.
I mean, we've got the list.
Oh yeah, true.
The list,
Not the road
so-
list.
But even so, that's a lot of effort.
That is true.
Yeah, I would say let's not, and I would highly encourage those road owners of if you have one I would encourage you to extend it to somewhere else.
Or just
But
redesignate it as a local road. And
yeah, or release the designation, yeah.
Like how?
But I'd say that going forward, that I think a stricter adherence to what the rule is.
Roughly how many roads are we like that fall into this category? How many roads are we thinking here? Like, is it a lot or is it just a?
Probably not that many, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are like a handful of B roads that are like loops inside towns. There's the 460 that was recently approved.
if you think about it, the A360 is just a massive ring road around Central City.
Or the A0 is.
Well, yeah, that as well. The A360 is a union to the A0 circle.
Though for the A0, you can argue that it connects the other A roads together because like that's the best way to get between like the A1, A4, A5.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that ring roads,
And the A8.
if it's a significantly sized town, then a ring road can be designated as a B road, but I think that should be done on a case by case rather than we formally say it connects town or it's a ring road.
Yeah.
For me, I wrote the rule as meant for intercity traffic.
Yeah. Which I think this case accounts for. So
For instance,
okay.
I think if Barsha Absolute ring road was to connect to multiple different B or A roads, then it makes sense for the ring road itself to be B road.
Yeah. I mean, there are currently 175 B roads. I don't think that's an unreasonable number to review and state whether or not we should grandfather them in.
So
There are also
Okay.
like I could also think of like a few A roads that are only in like one town, like the B270 and not B270, A270 and 270R. They're only in Ravenna, but they also connect the A12, which granted didn't exist at the time, and the A30.
I am not very road inclined. If someone that is road inclined wants to review, then I am happy to set as a precedent that we will remove the grandfathering, because realistically, if we downgrade a road forcefully, then you still keep all the perks of having a road, because guess what, you can still connect buses on it and you can still actually physically drive somewhere.
Yeah, we're not removing a road. We're just removing the
designation.
designator.
So if someone wants to review and recommend, then I would be happy myself to approve removing some roads designations if they don't fit the criteria.
Who's the most road savvy person here, or maybe not here,
Willing.
on staff? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
That's
say
willing.
Vicky and Cece have historically managed that spreadsheet, but I'm not going to volunteer you.
So what would I be doing exactly?
So I think the ask is to go over the whole list of roads, and basically, if there are any on the list of roads that are entirely within one town, to figure out if they should be deflagged. You know, if they should have their official designators removed. Basically, just compile that list for final approval, and then we'll need to actually remove the signs on the roads themselves at a second step, and then remove them from DIMAP.
I think I could do that. That doesn't seem like it'd take very long.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you add another column onto the side to say reviewed or flagged, reviewed okay, or flagged for removal.
I was just
Flagged for
thinking as for a separate doc. I mean, it'd be like a single purpose doc anyway.
Like it's a temporary thing. Just highlight the column if you need to temporarily.
Yeah, because it's a one-off.
Yeah. I could do that.
I mean, I can volunteer to help with this.
Okay.
I don't see it as necessary, because I think I could do it myself, because for 95% of the roads on there are it's obvious that they're multiple towns, and I don't
Honestly, have a look at the coordinates. If there are more than a few thousand, then you don't even have to look at them.
There are no coordinates on that
Oh,
list.
never mind.
But still.
But say for most roads, I think it should be obvious that they're in between towns.
Okay, so Vicky and AP, thank you guys for taking a look at the list. Let us know what recommendations you have. I think do we think that needs to be settled at GSM, or is that something that we can deal with as a other proposal, just to kind of finalize that list?
We don't have to. What do you guys think? Do you need a GSM to just finalize it, or do you just want to once you're done, just list out the roads and yeah?
We could go through. I could do 500 to 999, and AP, you could take 1 to
499.
499.
I'm not very.
Question is,
Sorry, go ahead, Chief.
yeah, I don't care how you guys split it. I think the question is, when you are done, how do we handle it? And I think I would say this is a small enough thing that we could probably just kind of accept it through the proposals channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. What I'll do is I'll copy over the road spreadsheet to something. I'll copy over the road spreadsheet to something a little bit more temporary.
Yeah.
AP and Vicky, you two can argue outside of the meeting of how you guys want to do it.
Okay, we could talk in Discord after the meeting, but
Sure.
we're almost done.
I was
So.
addressed Foot's comment. I think one thing to remember is this is also about freeing up road numbers. So if there are numbers that perhaps could be used better by some other roads, this would be useful to do.
Once again, one thing that I have thought about is that I don't think for a small road in between 2 minor towns, I don't think they should have a 2-digit road. I think it should be 3-digit only.
To be fair, if you want to look at that at the same time, then I'm very happy to take recommendations. And once again, I am open to forcibly changing road numbers if we want to go with an approach.
I would agree with that.
Yes, there's going to be it's going to be a pain in having to update the signage, but it's a one-time.
And I would say ditto to, at least for the 270 and 270R, ditching things with letters on the end.
Oh, there's a few. There's also the A95 H to Horizon Airport. There's also the A5W.
Yeah, those I've long held the opinion that I don't like having letters on the end.
I don't hate that.
But
I don't hate
Again.
that. I mean, the state I live in has that a lot, but I could understand not liking it.
yeah. So again, I think for sure, if there are any roads that should lose their designation entirely, if you guys are able to compile that list, and then if there are any other kind of cleanup things, however you define that, I'd say you've got free reign to compile that into a list, put that in proposals, and we'll discuss at that point of which ones we want to actually do.
Ignorant question, because I'm not very in touch with the roads on the MRT. How confident are we that the spreadsheet is a list of all B roads, or is there a chance that some? I suppose those are all the ones that have been reserve numbers, but could there have been an intracity road that someone's built that just isn't registered?
Possibly, but also note that a couple of years ago, me and Volpe went through and did an audit. So nothing more than like a few years old, I would say.
And to be
And I
fair,
would say
if it's not there, it's not on Dynamap either, so it's
Correct.
not. I don't particularly care.
And the number's not reserved, so kind of your fault. It's just like with the thing where if you want 300 and 500 protections, you have to be registered. Okay. Sounds like that is settled. Of no rule changes, we'll do.
I mean, do we need a rule change there to say that that A and B roads have to be registered? They just don't need permission.
Well, they're registered in order to reserve their numbers.
But do we want to say that on the rules that to have a B road, if you fall under the less than 500 blocks in connecting two towns or to an A road, then you still need to formally register the number.
Yeah, the one thing about the rules, it doesn't say anything specific about registration.
I don't think that like a length restriction is necessary because even short roads can have.
No, sorry, I'm saying because if it's more than 500 blocks, you have to go for approval, at which point it will be. Whereas if it's less than 500 blocks, you don't have to get the approval. So we may never know.
That is true. Yeah.
Once again, I think just generally, I mean, we already require approval for B roads longer than 500 blocks anyway.
I mean, there is one really easy solution here. Now that it's significantly quicker to get an approval through, because it can be turned around in a matter of a couple of hours. Now we have the proposals channel. How about we just say all A and all B roads have to be approved by staff? And realistically, the simpler B roads will get signed off within about a couple of hours.
I could see that.
Let's see.
But
it simplifies the rules.
Okay, before we do that, just remember the context of why we have this special case. It's to mainly so that people don't have to make a proposal. I guess, yeah, I see what you're saying, Simon.
It's if you are building a 500 block or fewer road, you're already going to be committing a couple of hours to do that. So an extra 30 seconds, well, probably an extra 5 minutes to draw something on a Dynamap screenshot and put a message in proposals. I don't think is that prohibitive.
The other case that I would say is for the one where we're like, yeah, if you're connecting from an A road to a town, I get that we don't necessarily want to put a bunch of burdensome stuff on that because it's a relatively short road. But at the same time, you're taking up a road number for what's essentially just an access ramp.
Okay.
So unless you're planning on extending that road, it probably shouldn't get designated anyway.
In which case, if we just say all B roads need approval, we're not stopping you from building a road if it's...
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say the construction would be allowed, but the designation in that case, yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, AP. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was messing with the sheets, setting things up.
Okay.
Are you saying roads that connect an A road to a town should not be designated?
Well, no. If they want to be designated, then they'll
have to get approval.
Yeah. What Simon's trying to do is, because when we approve, we designate anyway. This is a way to just make sure all roads are designated, because it's to avoid situations where people sneak in the road without notifying staff, and it never gets registered. Which that's a fair point. Like that's not something we'd like.
So
Yeah.
my personal comment would be that the construction rules stay the same. That you do not need approval to build a road less than 500 blocks if it connects two towns or connects a town to an A road. However, if you want it to be designated as a B road, at that point there needs to be a proposal, and that can be done retrospectively if you want to upgrade a local road to a B road, but it needs to be approved by staff to have a B road designation.
Simon, would it be okay if this was a separate proposal? Because I feel like, I don't know if maybe that won't be the case, but there might be some people who might not like this rule change. And I feel like we want to give them at least a chance
Okay.
to review.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy to discuss this at the next GSM.
Because I feel like if we just make this rule change right now, it might irk some people, perhaps.
Yeah.
It might not, but I mean, just in case, like.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we're reviewing the current B roads anyway, so it's not like they can use the next month to sneak them in.
Okay. So I guess for next GSM.
Yeah, I'll write a proposal.
Yeah, just write. It'll be. I mean, it's super simple. Like it's basically getting rid of the special cases for the roads to the A road and all that, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll write a draft of the rules page and put that on the proposal.
So hold on, can we go through what are we talking about? What are we proposing? Because my brain just started to get.
So-
fried.
Yeah,
So at this GSM, we are first of all we're denying Skelly's original proposal because no, we don't think a B road should be within one town. That's really the only action from this. That B roads cannot be within the town. The staff are going to be conducting a review of current B road numbers to see if there are any that shouldn't fit the B road designation. And then there was consideration but no decision on whether all B roads need to be approved by staff to get the designation. That will be proposed at the next GSM.
Okay.
There should be we should make a community issues topic for that, Simon. So
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
When I say GSM topic, I mean on the GSM and in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the proposal is if all B roads need approval.
Yeah, so we're saying keep the construction rules the same. So you can still build a 500 block road from your town to an A road nearby or to another town. But if you want a road designated as a B road, it needs to be approved by staff.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
Is-
Sorry.
That's the proposal that you're
what?
making.
Well, what did I just say?
You just said keep the A road. Keep the part that says you can connect to an A road part.
Yeah, so I would say that if it's less than 500 blocks, you still can connect it. It just is a local road within your town's boundaries. But if you want that to be a B road,
Oh, okay. I think just to make it really clear, just in terms of B roads, like, I think you're just saying.
I'm saying you can connect two towns
Yeah.
if they're less than 500 blocks with a local road that doesn't have staff permission, but you need staff permission to then call that a B road.
This is your proposal that you will be putting in the community issues
I
channel.
mean that's my
Okay.
opinion, but
So-
let's discuss it
So
at
the
next-
difference.
at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So the difference for classification is basically saying if it needs request to staff or a full proposal, basically. To be noted.
Effectively, yeah, I'm saying to have any road designated as a B road, you would need to put it in proposals.
This is getting rid of registration of B roads by RTS. Is
RTS?
essentially what it does.
What's
Request
RTS?
to staff.
Yes.
Okay, I think you just have to write this out, Simon, because I'm a little confused now.
Yeah, I think we need to see.
I think I
need to
got
read
it.
Yeah.
Sure.
My basic.
I think I got it.
Yeah, Simon,
I
my
think
basic
I got it.
understanding was in the B road rules as they're written, the section 2, which has the special cases of you you need approval except if you're connecting to an A road or if you're connecting two towns together within 500 blocks. That's just being changed to you need to get staff approval for any B roads, period.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I think let's discuss both, but I was more thinking we keep the actual construction the same, but that if you are if it fits under one of those exemptions, so it's connecting two towns within 500 blocks, you can just build it as a non-designated road.
Yeah, let's finalize that through the proposals channel.
Let's discuss it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll put both alternatives in the discussion.
It feels like
for the thing that was put on this agenda for this meeting, the outcome of that is
no.
To Scully's proposal, no.
Simon, can you put it in minutes for me because my brain is just fried.
I mean, just for minutes, it's just a case of the process to request designation of B roads will be discussed at the next GSM.
Okay.
Like,
Any questions on that?
just putting this out there. I'm looking at this from if there's any way to make the rules simpler, then
yeah,
right.
This is one way. But based on what you're saying, Simon, it feels like we need to add. We're removing that part, but we need to add something that says you can still construct roads, but you just can't get the B road designation, which I don't know how to really. That's a whole question mark because I don't know.
Yeah, that would effectively add a third category. But I'll put both alternatives in the proposal and we can discuss it.
Yeah,
rather than
let's
just
deal with
in
that
this
in March.
GSM.
Yeah,
let's deal with that in March. For now, I think
This has already been a long meeting, despite the low number of topics.
Sorry to everyone who watched us argue about line names and roads.
About road designations.
This is probably the GSM with the longest time to topic ratio.
No, there definitely has been.
No,
I would agree with IT.
Airport rule changes in the past.
No, but then they would have then been ended with like 10 topics which got approved within 10 seconds each. The pure time to topics.
If someone wants to go analyze that, go for it. AP, you're opening a line extension. Are there any objections to the stations that are listed here?
No.
Approved. We're done. Go.
Hey, are there any questions?
Yeah.
We need to hold the opening ceremony. I've got the oversized scissors and the rope.
I'm just copy pasting what AP had in the thing.
Okay,
I'm running through it. I'm punching. Okay, never mind.
Let's do the opening ceremony and then we'll take any questions.
I'm already writing it. Bye.
AP, you're
opening ceremony for the L extension. We've been working on this over several months. I now declare it opening. Oi! You nicked me scissors.
I nicked your scissors. There you go.
Yay.
Okay. Yay.
So there's an unauthorized presence on the line. Chief.
What? Oh, I left already.
Okay, it's time to ban them.
Okay.
Under like 2014 MRT rules, it's time to ban them.
Okay. No, they got on at a station. It's okay as long as they don't get off before they reach the next station.
Which I already did.
Hey, AP, look. Okay, now I'm off the track. I've officially lost my staff privileges.
Okay, while we're playing on the line, does anyone have any questions, just in general about the meeting? You know, Q&A.
Reminder of maintenance stuff happening sometime this week. Dyne map renders happening this week.
Mm-hmm. Are we still?
London, are we still to suggest names for the Y line? Yes, if they're an actually serious suggestion.
Yeah. I'm only adding suggestions if it looks like there's at least it's not just one off. It has to be something that maybe several people seem to agree on. So yeah.
Although I mean, since we don't have, there won't really be a forum for people to all be doing this, but put it in that thread in community issues, or if it's something that seems like it would get support. I mean, again, it's got to pass a basic smell test. But
Yeah. I think
yeah,
I'll
if
keep
you
that.
can do that, then we're good.
Generally, I would close threads like that, but if you have ideas, you can feel free to reopen that one. So, yeah. Chief has been issued an L3 warning for exiting the MRT Southern East Line outside of a recognized stations. What?
I would say that this warning has 2 grammatical failures on it and is therefore an illegal warning.
Damn it. What was the second?
Recognized is spelled with a Z. You know that.
Screw you.
London. Before you start submitting lines, I need to make up my plan. I'll try to work on it soon.
What's best, London? If you want to propose locations to the line, propose it as an idea next GSM as a counter.
Or just start a thread in planning.
Yeah, planning would would be probably best because, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure we would need a proposal for just an idea.
Yeah, use planning.
Yeah, I was more thinking like when we formally approved all of the Z2 routings, but no, we probably don't need that.
Also,
No.
Also, don't.
Now we've got forums.
You don't have to propose the whole line at once. Just, again, remember what the night line people did. Like if you're doing the Hendon Ocean Line XM, whatever the heck that is.
The XH line, yeah.
I
the marina shuttle.
I would imagine you just propose only up to the peninsula, and that's it. It doesn't have to go into the ocean yet, because that's a whole other
yeah, multi-phase things are totally normal. Okay.
Multiple phases, but we're not patient enough for multiple phase projects.
Next question.
The voters demand progress now.
I think I should have proposed the Union line in one go.
Actually, I have a question. Does anyone want to play Secret Hitler after this?
No, because I'm going to go and watch the Super Bowl pre-coverage.
Oh, that's stupid.
Oh.
Our meeting went to... yeah, I thought we had enough time, but the meeting went quite long, so that's happening.
My brain is fried. I have lunch to cook. I have laundry to do.
Sounds like that's going to unfortunately be a no then, Frumple.
That's okay.
I don't care for the superb owls.
Super.
Took me a while to just think about that, but okay, sure. Yep,
okay, we're done. Go home. Go to bed. Whatever you got to do. We're done.
Bye-bye. Meeting over. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Baba's broadcast.